I'd say,
So
who would be considered right-wing. He would be considered very right-wing. But, you see, you have to understand, in Ireland at the moment, that if you say anything wrong, you're right-wing. Doesn't matter whether you could have been the most left-wing person in the world up until that point. You're now right-wing. But they are going absolutely bananas at this new thing, the Rwanda thing, where people are leaving England and coming to Ireland and then coming in through the north into the south for the benefits that you get here. You see, the benefits here are very good.
So
apart from the people living on the street, that is like.
Yeah, so who allowed the Rwandans into Ireland?
You see, what they were doing is, see the Rwanda thing that came out, that we're all voting for in Parliament, in your Parliament.
Right, I don't know anything about the issue at all, so maybe
right.
You could.
It's a deal done with Rwanda where they have signed a deal saying that if anybody arrives from, say, France or wherever they're coming from, that they can be sent straight back to Rwanda as like a holding centre. Rwanda is becoming the holding centre. Well, this was passed through Parliament. Now, how legal it will be and how many people actually get there and the whole lot, the devil is in the detail, as they say.
Yeah.
But there has been a lot of people then who had crossed the channel illegally, who were in England and now came to Ireland because they don't want to be sent to Rwanda.
So these people crossed the channel, and then they decided quickly, let's get to Ireland because I don't want to go to Rwanda.
They don't want to be sent back to Rwanda, so they come to Ireland because
how did they get to Ireland from England though?
It's so when it comes to travel. See, this is the thing about Ireland is you can travel to the north of Ireland from England or Scotland or Wales on a driving licence, or most of the time some of them will require a passport, but you can't do it in the driving licence. You just have to show ID of any sort. And you can travel then, but there's no border between the north and south, so you just drive across, or get the train across, or get the bus across.
When you say,
and you're in the south of Ireland.
So when you say get the bus across, do you mean going obviously on the ferry from Holyhead to Dublin?
No, you don't. What you could do is come to Holyhead, but on the ferry into Larne if you wanted, and then go to Belfast Central Station from Larne. You can get the train from Larne, which will take you into. It'll take you across. There's a cross-town rail now thing that'll take you right into Central Station. You get off the train, step on the train to Dublin, and it'll take you to Dublin. You don't pass customs. You don't do anything like that. There's very, very little checks. I mean, I have never seen checks.
So
on that train.
Even now, they don't even ask for photo ID. It must do.
No, you just drive across the border. You won't even see a border. The only thing will happen is when you drive across it, the signs on the road, the speed signs change from miles per hour to kilometres per hour.
Okay. So you think that
it's very easy to do.
So you think some of the people that crossed the channel on the boats did exactly that?
I'd say quite a lot of them done it, to be honest. I'd say a lot of them had done it even before this Rwanda thing had come up.
Wow.
If you know what I mean. Because you see, once you're in the Republic of Ireland, you're also in Europe.
Yeah.
You're a part of the European Union. It has quite a good thing, because if you get accepted here, then you can travel anywhere in Europe without they say without a passport, but you really do need a passport. But you will get an Irish passport, which will get you through anywhere in Europe. You won't even have to have anything. You know what I mean? You just travel through with it. So, it's the common travel area.
So it's like the old Schengen zone.
Yeah, you just travel in between. You travel into any country. You don't have to do anything. There's no checks. There's no nothing. So that suits anybody who's coming here as an immigrant, especially if they're coming here as a economic immigrant.
So where do these asylum seekers, if they are asylum seekers, where do they get processed in Ireland?
Well, you see, what they will go and get processed in Ireland, but they won't even stop in England to be processed in England. Now, a lot of them probably have, a lot of them, the thing about Rwanda, it will increase it, but by how much is, I don't know. When you take all the figures into consideration, it's probably negligible. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be huge amounts of people coming across. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that could change. That indeed could change, and you would get loads coming over. The only thing that bothers me here in this country is you have to show identification to get on a plane. You have to show identification to get onto the boat or anything to come to even into Northern Ireland. You have to show some sort of identification.
Yeah.
But when you get to Dublin, and when they come to Dublin or wherever they're coming to register, the identification disappears. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And this is the thing that the people are getting up in arms about. They're sort of going, listen, there's no checks. There's nothing happening. These people are allowed in to come in. See, you got to understand what happened in Ireland. Ireland has had, I know it hasn't been shared quite a lot, but Ireland has had some really horrific knife crime through immigrants coming to Ireland. I mean, there was a guy he lived up in Sligo, I think it was, but it said there was a knife attack and 2 people had died and 1 person was seriously injured. What they didn't tell you about the knife attack was the 2 people that died had their heads cut off.
Jesus.
And the 3rd person had his head nearly cut off by a guy who was, I could say he was, say Pakistani, but I could be wrong, but he was definitely Muslim.
Wow.
And he was an immigrant, and he came here, but he was gay. And he was having relationships as a rent boy with these people.
Whoa.
And he must have just felt the guilt or whatever it was, and he went and, I mean, I'm not joking, he cut the head off 2 of them and nearly cut the head off the 3rd one. But it was not reported as that. It was reported as a stabbing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And this is why people in Ireland are now going, fucking hold on one moment. You aren't even telling the truth about what's happening to people who come here. Never mind telling the truth about how many's coming, what they're up to when they get here.
So,
you know what I mean?
So this a bit of a wake-up call, because I remember when I was in Dublin, there was big marches about, we welcome Palestinians and we welcome everyone and we're an open society. So do you think there's a slight turning of that?
Oh, without doubt, a lot of people are now. There's too many people here. It's not as if people in Ireland don't want to welcome them. They have no problem of taking people in. But when it comes to the point where you have hundreds of people sleeping in tents on the street, you can't get a doctor's appointment, you can't get a dentist appointment, your kids can't get to school. And you're sort of going, hold on one moment, you know what I mean? What has gone this far that it's got that bad? And again, our government is going to turn around and saying on now to this new EU amendment to something to let more migrants come into Ireland. And the whole country is up in arms about it. I mean, there's very few people in Ireland. Doesn't matter what side you're on, left, right, centre, it doesn't really matter. The only people who are for immigration are people who are in the government. Because nobody else is. And nobody else is. I mean, the amount of government ministers who are going to lose their job in this next election, the amount of EU politicians who thought they had it nice and easy, soft for the rest of their life, are going to get the shock of their life because they're going to be out in their arse. Independents are going to be voted into the European Union. It's just going to be all independents. You know what I mean? There's not going to be, I doubt very much there'll be any party, we have Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael here in Sinn Féin. It won't be any of them that get very few of them will be voted into Europe. And when it comes to the general election, I think Sinn Féin will probably get in, but it will have to take on board literally maybe 100 independents as to get them in government, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because the like, I don't know, birthing people and things like that.
Whoa.
Well, people didn't want that. They wanted women as women, you know what I mean? And the thing about our Constitution, it gives women a place in society. They are mentioned in it specifically so they don't get discriminated against.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It must be the only Constitution in the world that actually names the mother, the woman of the house, that actually has the rights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, they wanted to change all that.
So
but they said, and they come out and they said that, we have 87% of the people behind us. They didn't. They got trashed in the high 70. I think it was 75 in one they got trashed, and 78% in the other they got trashed. They just, that's how out of touch the political class are with the people in Ireland.
Wow.
They really are that far. And Sinn Féin then turned around before the thing says, if it doesn't go to yes, they were going to have another fucking thing to go on, another vote to go on it to get a yes vote. And the people just turned around after that and went, we can't even vote for Sinn Féin. You know what I mean? We thought Sinn Féin was the only hope left. And now we can't even vote for Sinn Féin. Now people are just going to vote independent. I know anybody I've spoken to is either going to vote Sinn Féin or independent. They're not going to vote for any of the parties that are in power, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so why could anyone be put off Sinn Féin? Could you repeat that again?
Because they have now, Sinn Féin has turned into, it's one of the establishment parties now.
Right.
Everything they say, everything they come out with is I mean, I'm from West Belfast. I was there in the beginning of Sinn Féin, you know what I mean? Jerry Adams was my MP.
Yeah.
I understand what Sinn Féin was about, and I have to tell you something. I wouldn't recognise the party now. I don't even recognise, it's not the same party, you know what I mean? It's just not the same party.
Mm.
They have got into whatever has got to them. Whatever has, you can tell when leaders have been got to, because their whole demeanour changes everything. And you got to understand, these guys are getting big money for doing this, you know what I mean? When they're approached by these, as they call them, NGOs and other people who come into the country and go, if we can get this done and that we can get this passed, we can do this for you in the future.
Right,
and that's the way it works.
So you're talking brown envelopes, get this over the line.
Well, you see, brown envelopes are there too, but you got to understand, see, Europe is such a big machine that you can end up leaving a job like an MP in Ireland and going to Europe into one of them fucking, you can be general secretary of the fucking first act of whatever. They have so many bureaucratic jobs that pay huge amounts of money and huge pensions. Plus, you get an apartment in Brussels, all paid for. Even your food, your electricity, your gas, your television. You know what I mean? So, it's a good scam, this politics, especially within Europe, you see, because there's so much bureaucratic jobs where you can hate a politician who never done anything right in their life for the people, you know what I mean? Because, you see, we had loads of them in Ireland who've been shipped off to Europe in the past for, head of the farming division of Eastern Siberia, you know what I mean? And you're sort of looking, going, what fucking title did you get, you know what I mean?
The fuck?
They just make them up.
How would an Irish person get voted into a job that involves, say, Siberia? I mean, how would that ever happen?
You have to understand something about Europe. Europe, it doesn't, you got it, and politicians in general, everything about it. Politicians are, how can you be anything? How can you understand what a mechanic has to work at or how a mechanic works if you've never worked as a mechanic or done any work on a car? You don't understand anything then that the mechanic does, or a plasterer or a bricklayer or a school teacher, anything of that nature. You don't have a clue. You only know how to work within politics. And politics is a totally different world from the outside world. You don't have to be qualified in the field that you're adjudicated.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? What they'll turn around and go, no, I don't. What I have to do is arrange the people underneath me to do that job.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for. and to take the big bonuses and the pension.
So like a figurehead, an organizer.
Exactly. I mean, half the jobs you sort of look at and you go, and you see some of the fucking headings of the job, and you sort of go, yes, okay. Now, what exactly do you do? You know what I mean? And you'll find that some one of them, you know, he probably counts the sheep in the Cooley Mountains. You know what I mean? Like,
Jesus.
And you sort of go, and he's 250,000 a year for counting fucking sheep. You know what I mean?
Okay. What? Just changing the topic. Can you give me a bit more information about your cat, about your kitten? Did you say you bought it or it turned up at your door?
No, I was very sick last night, and I couldn't sleep. On about 4:30 this morning, I went down to the back door to have a cigarette, and just out of the darkness, this little fucking fairy thing arrived up the garden.
Right. So it's not even.
Came in and sat beside me.
So hang on a second. You didn't pay for it. It's not yours. I mean, it's.
No, it's not mine.
It just arrived.
I put it on the neighbours have a WhatsApp thing. Now, I'm not part of it, so I got one of my daughters to put it on to say that this kitten was here, and seemingly it belongs to somebody down the street. But I brought it down. They weren't in, but I left the cat there, and by the time I had come back up and in the door, it was sitting in the fucking seat, sitting across from me.
Jesus Christ. And your cat died a couple of days ago.
Oh, my cat died a couple of weeks ago. I was distraught, man. 22 years. Come down and seen it on the floor. I couldn't believe it. Oh God. But not to worry. It's gone now. It's better in a better place it was, you know. But, it had a good old life.
But it's funny that the kitten turns up a couple of weeks later, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. And you have to see it. It's absolutely beautiful little cat. It's absolutely gorgeous. Jet black. And a little black nose to match. When it closes its eyes, it just goes. You can't see it in the dark. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
But I really don't want another kitten at the minute. I don't want a cat at the moment. I couldn't be arsed with one. I've just got rid of one, so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
Plus, I have to move. I have to get out of this house in 21. I have 3 weeks left to get out of this house.
Okay. Well, message me on how you managed to do it, and you just send me a text and let me know how you're doing, and because I do think
no problem. I'll keep in touch with you, no bother at all. I'm just wondering, you know.
Yeah.
I've got 3 weeks, and then this is so there's no point in me getting a cat. You know what I mean? Like.
No, it's completely understand. All right, Michael. Are you still able to access the channel? Can you look at the channel?
Yes, I can look at the channel, but what's happening lately with a load of stuff that I'm doing is I keep on getting unsubscribed by things, and then comments are turned off on other channels, and then when you ask them about it, they go, no, it's not us, it must be YouTube turning them off, it must be this, it must be that.
Don't forget.
And it's happening quite a bit.
Yeah. I'll discuss that with you. I'll drop you a text because it's something I did, and I might have misunderstood what you said. I'm going to explain that in a bit, but rest assured, you know, I'm going to keep in touch with you, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, so don't feel that I'm shunning you or anything like that.
Oh, no problem.
All right.
No problem.
All right.
Well, listen, people, have a wonderful evening, and sure, talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, Michael. Okay. Yeah.
Bye.
Keep an eye on the lives.
I will.
Okay. Take care, Michael.
See you then.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening. Bye-bye.